The evolution of hitting has just come so far. Nowadays, there's the biomechanics, the anatomy, all the asymmetries in your body that can affect the way you move.
Ralph Herrera is a skilled hitting coach known for sharpening young players' batting technique and discipline.
What would be like the top one thing that you regret?
I would say individuality and their movement patterns.
If you don't know what body type you have, how would you go about figuring that out and figuring out what is optimal?
We want to see how far you can rotate, how far is your hip-shoulder rotation. We stand you up, we look and see what your posture looks like. We can see if there's any wrinkles in your shirt when you're standing.
What would you tell that person who is really wanting to commit to baseball but is struggling?
I think that's a great question.
All right, on today's podcast, we have a great guest, Ralph Herrera. He is a coach, not only just a hitting coach, but he is really a true specialist when it comes to player development. So this is something that we've talked a lot about, the mental side of things. We've talked about some of the neuroscience side of things. Now we're going to get deep into mechanics and into what real growth and progress looks like from his viewpoint and from his side and experience. So Ralph, today we're going to talk a lot about how you get a player to grow and actually get better. So how would you, with your experience and with what you've seen, how would you take someone who's already pretty good and get them to be great?
Well, I think you bring up a really great point. There are so many things in today's industry that can help with that. For us, the evolution of hitting has just come so far. 20 years ago, we were hitting off tees, doing specific drills, and then taking BP, and you were good to go. Nowadays, there's the biomechanics, the anatomy, all the asymmetries in your body that can affect the way you move. There's
Interesting. Asymmetries in the body. Do you measure that? How do you find out if someone has an asymmetry?
For a simple example is how they stand. So you can see the way someone stands. Are they standing, feeling like they're falling back, or do they look like they're leaning forward? And you can see the way their pelvis is rotated. Is it rotated forward? Is it rotated backwards? So with some of those asymmetries in the way they move, we could be giving them some drills or some demands, like get into your front side, that they're not able to do.
Right. And that's key, right? Because
very key.
Otherwise, you're constantly working on something that's really doing nothing and wasting time, and efficiency is way low.
Efficiency, and then also we could be doing damage to the player too. Wow. So that's, the risk of injury could happen.
That's huge.
So again, there's so many things that complicate, being not just a swing coach, but becoming a hitting coach.
Right.
And that's where, there are so many things that are involved is the biomechanics, how you move, the mental side of it, and then what you specialize on the visual side.
Right. So it's a holistic approach that you look at. So you look at the whole thing.
We start by evaluating the body. What type of mover are they? Are they a tight mover? Are they a light, loose mover? And then ultimately we have a lot of tools to help them move better, to make sure we teach them how to rotate properly. We want to teach them how to stop properly, to really make sure that we're seeing the decel patterns in their body to help them deliver the barrel. I think I would, and maybe you can help me with this, the visual demand in sports is high in every sport.
Yeah.
But if you were to rank what is the toughest sport visually, where would you rank baseball versus other sports?
It's up there. Yeah, top 3. Yeah, I would say baseball, hockey, and then this third one is difficult for me because there's so many that are just like right there.
Okay.
So any sport that moves really fast, where you need vision as the main component, main driver for action, I think is in that third spot.
Okay.
So a lot of times I would say soccer, because it's such a visual sport and it's so dynamic. You're running the whole time. There's no pause. There's no break. So that's where vision, if it gets fatigued, it plays such a big role. So soccer or football would be, for me, right there. But then again, you can make an argument for volleyball. You can make an argument for so many. But if I had to pick top 2, definitely, for me, baseball, softball, and hockey.
I think I agree. I mean, ultimately for us, we have to teach someone how to create space, have the right direction, deliver the barrel in less than for seconds.
Yeah.
Right. So that's one of the most difficult things to do. And, we start with youth athletes. The surprising part is some of the youth athletes move like professional athletes.
Wow.
And
just naturally after coaching?
Just naturally, they move better. And I think that's one of the things that I've learned after I think I've probably messed up thousands of hitters over the years is that, there's not one way to hit. When I was pretty closed-minded and felt like I had it all right, I was doing a lot of damage to hitters.
Yeah.
And we said, hey, this is how you're going to do it. This is how you're going to move. And, ultimately we got some results, but we didn't get all the results that we wanted. And, we put a lot of yelling and screaming into those sessions. And when I look back, I shake my head and with regret on, all the mistakes that I made.
What would be like the top one thing that you regret? Like if you could take yourself back now, go backwards and help a hitter with the knowledge you have now, what would be one thing that you would hone in on?
I would say individuality in their body and their movement patterns. Making sure that, some people have to feel like they're they're leaning forward.
Okay.
You have some people that have to feel like they're in their heels because they want to hold themselves up.
Okay.
And I was doing damage to the ones because I was trying to make them all move forward.
Right.
And some of the hitters that couldn't physically do that and couldn't feel that, they didn't have the success. So if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't be so closed-minded and stubborn in making sure that it was my way.
So would you say that's the biggest part of the evolution is going from, let's say, molding someone to be perfect versus now you're looking at them as an individual, noticing their weakness patterns or their body and optimizing the body to make the performance happen?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then there's multiple ways you can optimize it. I think there are some really good foundations of what every great hitter does. They just all do it differently.
Can you give me an example of that?
So you have Mike Trout,
Okay.
who's a very tight mover.
Yeah.
So Mike Trout can really move in small windows. He doesn't need a big load to take his body and put it in optimum stretch. So he already has a lot of stretch in his body. So he's able to move tightly and in small windows. And it doesn't take a lot. It's like snapping a rubber band. His rubber bands are very tight.
I see.
Then you have somebody like Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger is really tall. He's a very loose mover. He has to get a lot of movement. He's got to feel his hands moving back and his body pulling all the slack out.
Right.
So he can get into stretch. Different body types, different moves, different visual cues, but they get the barrel there in similar ways.
If you don't know what type of body type you have, how would you go about figuring that out and figuring out what is optimal? Is that where the coach comes in?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we do. We want to see how far you can rotate, or how far is your hip shoulder rotation.
Okay.
We stand you up. We look and see what your posture looks like. I mean, we can see if there's any wrinkles in your shirt when you're standing. The way you stand, maybe the way your feet are organized when you sit down. So you may have something in your pelvis to where you have to keep your feet out like this so you feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Right? So there's some little patterns that people give away. Just recently did some training with the farm system, Joey Cunha, amazing week in doing that. And we learned a lot. So am I great at it yet? No. I have a long way to go. So, but I'm excited about the path that we're on.
That's what I've noticed about coaches who are really great, is that they're always learning, right? You find a coach who's super confident, they know everything, they're not willing to learn anything new, I would say run away from that coach. Because there's always so much more to learn.
And we've had kids run away from us, and rightfully so. They should have ran away from us. Early on we were big, we felt like rotational swing. There's a lot of rotation, but we were 100% rotation. We had 108 Performance, which is like Eugene Blucher and Will Marshall. They're a great group. They were in Southern California, moved to Tennessee, and they came in and they showed us, they opened our eyes to, you guys are being closed-minded. You really need to look at all these different patterns. You need to understand that there's more than just rotation.
Right.
There is a decel pattern. There is, you got to teach them how to put on the brakes. And they introduced water bags to us, and that's where those areas of key learnings over the years have really helped us and helped guide us.
So when we talk about water bag, and can we actually do a demonstration?
Yes.
Can you do a drill?
Yes, we can do it. We can do a couple different drills. Carmen, Supreme Athletes, Carmen Vasquez.
Love it.
She's put a lot of work. This kid's been putting in a lot of work since she was about 8 years old, and she moves really well and been rewarded by getting an offer from LSU, and many others chose LSU, but she's done a great job. So she's going to be our model for today. So we do a couple different things. One is we put the water bag in front, and then we like to make sure that we secure the lower half. So their lower half has stability, so that way they can move the upper half. Go. So there she's working across her body. Everything that we try to do is cross body, because that's how we move naturally. When you are a baby and you're laying on the ground, that's how you learn to roll over. You start to work your upper body in one direction and your lower half goes in the other direction and you're able to roll over. So the body feels really comfortable moving across.
So when you're doing with the water, what's the point of the water?
So a couple things. One is you learning how to rotate. Two, it gives you a cue with the noise and the feel. And so you're learning how to stop fast. So a lot of times we give cues like pull back fast. So do a turn and she'll pull it back fast. When it cues the brain to do something, the brain will actually help you achieve your goal.
Okay.
Also, we give constraint cues. So sometimes we'll just have them shuffle their feet in place. So shuffle them in place and tap them, yep. So they'll be tapping them in, and then I'll clap, and then we'll go. So I'll stand behind them, so shuffle. So we'll go, go, go. They don't let us see us, and then we'll give them that cue. So that way it's a faster turn. Again, shuffle, 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 bang, and then go. So those kind of cues really help too.
Because you also have to now listen and then react to it. So it adds another component to it.
And a lot of times what we'll do is we have water balls too. We'll move this one in front so that way they have to get some turn in a different direction. So it'll create more space. Go ahead and do a land and turn. So it gets space in front of them. So it helps them create space that they need. A lot of times hitters, if you run out of space, you're not going to have a lot of success hitting. You're going to get jammed up a lot and pull your hands inside and really create some bad situations for yourself.
Now, when you do that, does that feel heavy? Does that feel?
No, it just feels like a resistance.
Just a small resistance?
Yeah.
Okay.
And resistance training is big for us too. We also use bands. So what we can do, let's just put this one on your front shoulder. Let's turn 2 circles all the way up. Yep. So what we'll do is we'll hold them in this direction. Okay. And then go ahead and pick up that water bag, bear hug and turn. So I'm trying to pull her front hip open.
Right.
So she's able to anchor it. So we can teach them how to anchor well into the front side with good stops.
Now, is this helpful for everyone, or is this helpful for those who can't rotate that well?
Well, one, to be able to stop fast, you have to learn how to go fast. So you have to learn how to rotate fast. So if you can't, you're only going to go as fast as you can stop.
Okay.
But if you're not going fast, you're not going to be able to stop well either. So, we want to teach rotation. We want to teach brakes.
Okay.
But first, it's teaching them how to rotate. So you're really moving in a frontal plane, side to side. And then as you load, so you're loading this way, and then you have to get into your rotation.
Right.
It sounds very simple. A lot of times we overcomplicate it as well with all these other cues. Like I mentioned before, a lot of the young hitters that come in here, they're already moving very well. And prior to this, we probably took a lot of those moves away from them and gave them cues that made them worse. Huh. I'll give you an example, squish the bug.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So that's a cue that's been around for years, but
there's still people who use that.
There's still people that use that, unfortunately. Another thing that we do is we'll go over the head water bag. And again, we're trying to stabilize our lower half. So just start wide and just do some continues. So the feet are in good place and just go 5 in a row. And then we just get turns. So that way they learn how to really stabilize their hips, which is a big piece of it, because your pelvis, it's, especially in young women, it can move really fast and create what we would call a lot of back drag, if you're not able to stabilize it properly.
Do you see that often with baseball versus softball, where you're training them differently because of that body mechanic and because of the individual?
We do. We use individual cues. One of the cues that we use for hitters, go ahead and use this for a bat for now. Or if you want to get your bat. You want to get your bat real quick? So one of the cues that we use for every hitter that we use that come into Tilted Athletic Facility, the first thing we do is we ask them to swing up, swing down, and swing level.
Oh, okay.
So, and we'll record it. So for example, we'll use Carmen and go ahead, swing down. Okay, swing up and swing level. So if you record that and that was played back to her, they all look very similar.
Yeah. There's a mild difference.
There's a mild difference in those, where there's some kids that you'll say swing down and their swing down is this.
Right.
Their swing up is this.
Right.
Their swing level is here. So we ask that question because we understand that there are a lot of coaches that use the same cues for every hitter, especially on a baseball team or a softball team. Hey, let's swing down. But everyone's brain processes that differently and it means something different.
Right. So
we tried to help them understand that.
Makes sense.
One other thing that we do a lot of is we like to use crossbody stuff. So we'll use this as a farm log. So we actually try to train a crossbody. So she'll take this, it'll start out in front, and then her back foot will go and she'll get up here in that direction. Yeah, and then so feet straight. And then you're gonna take it this way and this one steps back. Let me move this back. Go.
And would you say this is more for mechanics or strength or both?
It's for strength and it's for training the fascia system in your body. So there's different planes that this system works in. So we try to work all planes of it.
Right. That's
and
another
we can
topic
do that
we'll
with a
get
water
into.
bag as well. So do that. So you're gonna get here, step back, yep, and go up quick. Good. Deeper. Step back deeper. Good. So this really strengthens the front side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So go the other side now. So we make sure we work both sides of every drill that we do so we can even out the body. Perfect. Yeah, so those are some things that we do. We also, we utilize this band a lot with a lot of drills. We'll take and band her up. Again, put this on the back shoulder this time, 2 turns. Yeah. 2 turns, go ahead. Right there, good. And go ahead, full swing with your bat. So we'll be here, and then we'll anchor him down. She'll do her load, and then a full swing.
And that's resistance in the opposite
It's resistance
direction.
in the opposite position,
So you're
right?
forcing the turn.
Forcing the turn.
Or even feeling the turn.
Absolutely. So we have this banded up. Go ahead, one more. And we make sure we don't allow them to over-rotate too. So we show them what that rotation feels like. So, we can try to pull them open. Sometimes we have to feed the mistake.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to help them build in some areas.
Because it's hard to feel, right? As a player, would you say you could feel when you over-rotate now compared to before?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Definitely. Way out here.
Right.
So, and we teach a couple different ways to stop. So we do a drill called the trout step. So sometimes, Carmen doesn't get a lot of pitches over the plate, rightfully so. So we want to teach her how to stop multiple ways. So if it's an outside pitch, go and do a full swing, what we do our trout step. So it's a full swing, she stops, and she'll step across with her front foot on the trout step, outside, boom, front foot, works across because she's working in that direction. Now, if it's an inside pitch, she has to really over-rotate. Her back foot will come towards home. So those are two different ways to use your brakes.
Right.
And now she can use that multiple ways in a game.
That's so key. I love it. I love the drills.
And their team this weekend had a lot of success. They played in LA.
Oh, yeah? How'd it go?
We won. We won all. We won our premier bird. We went 9-1.
Nice.
Yeah,
9-1.
9-1 over the weekend. 8-1.
That's really good.
You know that it's softball nationals is a true national sport.
Yeah.
And you know, to qualify for Premier is top 65 teams in the country. It's pretty impressive. And their team had a really good weekend in hitting.
Thank you, Carmen.
Thanks, Carmen.
Those drills were awesome. There were a couple of takeaways that I want to expand a little bit on. It looked like a lot of the drills were creating an internal awareness factor, right? You're teaching the athlete how to feel something with adding some resistance, adding the water. For someone who doesn't have that awareness, this is going to help a lot. But what about someone who already has some internal awareness? Would these drills still be helpful?
Absolutely. If you look at Paul Skeens' warm-up patterns is with a water bag.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So again, it really helps. Not only it doesn't create just mechanics,
Right.
it really warms your muscles up and starts to get all of your engine to fire.
It's like a warm-up to fire the same pathway that needs to be working.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
And you know, and those mechanics and that movement pattern, you could feel it early. Like if you're losing your top half too soon, you'll feel that water bag start to move too fast away from your lower half.
Right.
So there's so many different things that the water it helps us with. We're seeing more and more water bags in at the actual games.
Yeah.
Inside prior to them coming up to bat on deck.
So it's almost like if you have certain tendencies, this could be one way to stop some of those bad tendencies.
Absolutely. So like I mentioned earlier, what we do is sometimes we'll feed the mistake. So if you're flying your lower half open too early, we're going to pull you open and you have to resist against that. And then you see that, oh, okay, you know what? This resistance helped me. I see my barrel delivering better. But we also have some progressions that we set up in our drills. So we'll start with some movement patterns, and then we move, and we have a list of drills on how they're moving that day that we go to. So we blend it to where by the end of it, they're feeling really good about their movement pattern and swing.
Yeah. I mean, you're using this as like a science of progression. Versus before, it was more just hit as many balls as you can, a lot of batting practice, right? Repetition.
Yeah.
Versus this is more of a progression, where they're not doing the same thing over and over, or they might be if they're stuck at a level, and then they're moving up and up and up.
Yes.
Okay. I love that. Another thing that stuck out to me was the fascia. Was fascia being trained prior, maybe accidentally or on purpose compared to now? Because I hear fascia a lot now.
I think it was trained more accidentally, and then if you start looking at all the fascia lines in your body, they're so interconnected.
Yeah.
You have fascia lines running at the bottom of your feet, around your calf, up through your body, into your shoulder, right? So there's so many lines. So like when you land, are you feeling that tension in your feet?
Right.
Right, so that's why you see so many hitters like hit barefooted so they can feel the ground.
Yeah.
They can feel the tension. They can create tension. You know, as the science starts to progress and they understand the fascia system even more, which fascia lines to train because of the way your body is moving, it's going to even enhance the play significantly.
Okay. Now, do you already do that here?
Not as in-depth as some other hitting facilities do.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're just starting to go down that path. I mean, we understand the drills that we do, and we are training it. Yeah. We just aren't training specific lines of fascia.
Right.
Which I think we will. Like I said, we have some ideas of how we're going to progress in that direction. So, looking forward to that.
I see a lot of research in that area, so it just makes sense. In every sport now, they're starting to realize how important fascia and that system is, where before it was just accidentally being trained, and some people had it, some people just didn't.
Absolutely. With some of the baseball training facilities that I've seen recently, they're so in depth in that, and the anatomy and the biomechanics. The most important part is how can you facilitate that into your sport.
Right. Sport specific.
Sport specific, just like the training that we're asking some of our players to do with you. Right? How does that enhance our performance on the field?
Right. Yeah, it's all connected.
Quick segment break, but you're going to want to hear this. If you're an athlete, coach, or parent, and you want faster reaction, this is where we start. This is called vector ball. This ball unpredictably bounces and it changes colors, red, green, or blue. We use this to sharpen the reaction time, focus, and coordination. And here's what makes it different. Whenever you see a different color, you can assign it to left, right, pass, shoot, adding a cognitive load, meaning that frontal lobe, while you're moving around, is making faster decisions. We use this with athletes every week, and we hardwire this decision making. Train your brain, train your eyes, dominate your game. Grab the vector ball in the link in the bio or scan this QR code to get started. Let's get back to it.
Nowadays, an athlete can't just do one thing. They have to train a comprehensive way, right? Meaning if you're training hitting, you're going to be doing some cognitive stuff, some vision stuff. You're going to be doing the mechanics stuff, strength training. You're going to be doing fascia training. And then you're going to be doing awareness and resistance training. There's so many layers now involved to get optimized.
100% agree. And I think when you think back, again, when you go back 20 years ago, and even now, when you start talking about the physical training, the weightlifting, the strength, typically when you go to most colleges, most high schools for sure, like the trainer is the football trainer.
Yeah.
And he's used to training football players.
Right, totally. Yep.
Offensive and defensive linemen don't have to rotate.
No.
Right? So I think what you're seeing in our sport today are companies that are trying to enhance the movement patterns of the sport. And I think golf is probably years ahead of baseball when it comes to that. Their ball isn't moving, of course, but still some of the technology, I think, goes from golf into baseball.
Yeah. I definitely think it's easier to develop technology for a sport that doesn't move, right? I mean, baseball is very dynamic. There's a lot more weight transfer.
It is very, there is some controlled weight transfer. And, there's debates on what side you hit from the back side, you hit from the front side. Mm-hmm. I think there's always going to be that debate. From what I found is that, you really need to move into your front side, and you got to be able to work against that to be able to deliver the barrel. And there's companies that can actually, you have force boards that can actually measure that.
Yeah.
So the measurement tool is there.
Yeah.
And, so with video today, with the technology of force boards and force plates to see how much force you're putting into the ground and where that force is at the point of contact, I think there's a lot of data that can help you choose the direction that you want to choose.
Yeah, there's a lot of tech coming out even now. I mean, beyond that stuff, that's amazing. But if we go back to let's say a high school player just entered high school and he's playing pretty well, maybe doesn't have access to someone like you and a facility, what would you recommend they do to train better and to use some of the principles we talked about today?
There's a lot of different things that you can do. I mean, I think one, getting off your bed and off your video games would be a really good help.
That's a good one.
But I would say play multiple sports.
Oh, okay.
Play multiple sports, even if it's just in high school, so your body can get different movement patterns, so you don't get stuck moving one specific way.
So let's say you're a baseball player. That's your primary sport. What 2 sports would you recommend would be good add-ons for a baseball player?
I think water polo.
Oh, okay.
Would be one. One, your body is, you're putting your body under immense physical pressure, and you know what? You're going to get your cardio up. and they love baseball players because they have great arms,
Makes sense.
right?
Yeah.
So I think that would be really one really good sport. I think another good one is, I would say maybe tennis is a good one to get into. The stops, the breaks, the different angles, the spacing that you need to strike a ball.
Right.
And even golf. People will say, oh, the golf's going to mess my swing up. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
The ball's not moving, but you're using a lot of the same muscles and physical skills to achieve that. And you don't have it, and you won't get hurt. I mean, I love football.
Yeah.
I love basketball, but your risk reward is not as high.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with the level that people play nowadays with basketball and football, you can't just play for fun.
You can't.
It's a competition.
You got someone wants to rip your head off across from you.
And that's even in like middle school.
Yeah. So I would say those are some really good sports. We've seen some of our baseball players play water polo. So it's worked out really well for them.
I want to go back to one thing that you said I thought was really good. You said in order to hit fast, you need to stop fast.
Correct.
So can you go into some of the mechanics of that and maybe a drill that if we don't have a water bag or if we don't have some of this stuff, is there something you can do with just a bat and maybe a resistance band?
Yeah, I think a resistance band just around your waist. You can utilize heavy bats.
Okay.
So you can go heavy, light, and then your bat. That will help your bat speed. Again, rotation speed and bat speed are two different things. There are college players that have higher bat speed than MLB players, but MLB players know how to hit and put force into the ball. So having that controlled, I think one of the analogies that they used when they were teaching us about the brakes is they just said, look, hey, some people are F-150 and some guys are Ferraris.
Right.
If you put a Ferrari engine into a Pinto with their brakes, you're not going to utilize the engine because you can't stop.
Right.
So we always use that analogy for us to say, listen, we have to maximize the output of our body.
Yeah.
And then you can only go as fast as you can stop. So we have to teach stopping, and then if they don't rotate well, we have to teach them how to rotate well, and then teach them how to put the brakes on.
Okay. That makes total sense. So would you be able to demonstrate maybe how they would do it at home with a resistance band? Would they tie it to something and then tie it around their waist?
Yeah, so I would say if you can order one of these. Like I said, this is I'm gonna put a plug out there for the farm system. They have bands, and they have these clips that go onto it, and you could take this clip and you could clip it onto a pole, or you could clip it onto a door or something in the garage, and then you can get this around your waist in this position, and then you can get away from it, and then you're gonna create tension, and then you're gonna work away from that tension.
Work away from the tension.
Work away from the tension, and you're going to feel it. So it's going to try to pull you back, and you're going to have good balance, and then you're able to stabilize your swing to start your turn. Then you can situate it around your shoulder, like I did with Carmen.
Right.
You can go in different areas, so that way you're creating tension, or you can feed a problem that you might have.
Okay, and then you go the opposite way.
You can go the opposite way.
Okay, so let's say they did that. How many times would you recommend doing that before you start hitting to feel that difference?
I would say take 20 to 30 swings with it, then go hit off your tee and see if you can feel what you're doing while you swing. I think that's one of the biggest. I think that's one of the biggest opportunities for young hitters and great athletes. They understand how their body moves.
Right.
So when something feels off, they can feel it right away.
Yeah.
So body recognition and feel recognition is a huge piece of it. And to do that, you have to have repetition.
Love it. It's a good drill. When you analyze, if we go back to the body asymmetry stuff, I mean, you have years of experience. So you could look at someone, the way they walk, maybe the way they stand, and you can kind of tell some of the asymmetries. But how would someone know as an athlete themselves if they have asymmetry? Is that something that you just have to find someone who's qualified to get checked?
I think find someone qualified that gets checked. And I think it's a really good question for, if you have it's probably not going to be your physical doctor that you go to see, your everyday doctor. But I would say there are many people that are qualified to evaluate you. If you go to some really good gyms, they're going to have people that understand
people who've taken
biomechanics
certifications.
and anatomy, who've taken certifications that can help you with that.
Okay.
The big thing now is the psoas muscle, right? That runs through your core and under your pelvis into your thighs. So that can really affect, if that's really tight, that can affect your pelvis and which way it's oriented. So, making sure that that's stretched out. And we do that drill sometimes when some kids come in really tight, my hamstrings are really tight. We have them loosen their psoas muscle. Then all of a sudden their mobility opens up a little bit and they feel so much better.
Isn't that rewarding? Like a quick fix there?
Yes. And then you're just saying, wow, those are little pieces that for some hitters that, if they over rotate, their back is hurting one day and their pelvis may be putting a lot of pressure on it because they're oriented a certain way. So they have to go back in and reorient themselves and get some stretches that kind of get them back into better posture.
Is there anything on that realm you recommend players do before a game or before a tournament when it comes to stretching or routine?
Again, I recommend taking a water ball or a water bag for those routines, so you can do your movement patterns and your movement to get yourself warmed up, or just a PVC pipe or your bat, where you're walking across your body with your shoulder. You're doing some double shuffle turns. You're doing baseball movement patterns.
Okay.
And getting back to your question on evaluating your body type and some of the asymmetries, I think chiropractors do a really good job of doing that.
Would you say sports-specific chiropractor, or any chiropractor can do it?
I would say if one that is sports-specific, that focuses on sports versus general practice chiropractor, but I would guess that most of them would be able to help you with that. If they weren't able to give you what you're looking for, I think they could recommend you to someone.
Right.
But it's a good process to go through so you understand it. So that way you can go to your pitching coach or your hitting coach or your baseball coach and say, hey, I'm having a problem standing in this direction. It's because he has asymmetry in one of the sides of his pelvis, so he's leaning in poor posture, and the coach is getting upset with him. But it's really something inside of his body that's creating that.
And then you can cater the biomechanics towards their body type.
You can
or fix the body.
Or you could fix it. Yeah. There are some things that you can fix.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big piece of it, is that being able to identify it and how do you correct it. And there are ways. There's a lot of band work. You can band, there's not enough frontal plane stuff that's practiced, like some side lunges with kettlebells.
Okay.
Right? So allowing yourself to expand in. Once you start to try to understand it and investigate it, you start to look into other areas that can help that and educate yourself.
Yeah, there's so much involved into just hitting a ball, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, just biomechanics, and then you got all the other stuff too to actually hit it. So for you, where have you noticed like the biggest improvement with players? Like if there was one thing that you are able to do to notice the biggest improvement, would it be the body and the symmetry?
I would say learning how to rotate and learning how to stop.
Okay, that's the biggest.
I think the faster you learn how to put on the brakes and your decel patterns start to work, you really see it's like cracking a whip, or when you hit your little brother with a wet towel.
Yeah.
It's that pullback that creates that snap.
That's how you get the speed and the power.
That's how you get the speed, and that's how you deliver the barrel.
Okay.
I would say those are the two biggest things. Like most kids that come in, they over-rotate. And if we just, all we say is, hey, give me an 80% swing and let me see you stop earlier, and it cleans up a lot of stuff.
Right. And then you're not worried about hitting down or up.
Right. You're worried about delivering the barrel. And I think, again, if we can say that would be the one big piece is, and again, I'm working with a lot of youth hitters.
Right.
Anywhere from 10 through college level. As they get older, those fixes get harder.
Right.
And I think, again, we attended a seminar a couple weeks ago, and one of the questions was, how do you work with, how many MLB players you work with? And that is a very difficult task, because these guys are making, $20 to $30 million, and you put your name on them, you can't mess them up.
Right.
And that extra 1%, and it may just be pitch recognition. And it may, that may help them. Their movement patterns are very ingrained and they're already really doing things really well.
Yeah, that's the hard part, right? Like if you're talking about MLB, the movement pattern already got them to the MLB.
Correct.
So you don't want to overhaul that movement pattern.
No, you don't want to overhaul that movement pattern. But again, a lot of MLB players will tell you that they over-rotate as well.
Yeah.
So I think that would be part of the equation when they start to develop a plan is, okay, how about if we tried this?
Right.
Just changing the direction, the orientation. I think you see Altuve, the way he stands.
Right.
He stands super closed off. We love that for our hitters because it really takes away some of the inefficiencies with your front side. So by starting closed, it's a lot easier to work into it.
Can you explain that a little bit? So we're closed off. What inefficiencies does it help with specifically?
So if I'm open this way,
Okay.
and I over rotate in this direction, like I can almost rotate past the foul pole.
Okay.
Okay? So if I just take and change my orientation just slightly where I put my back foot behind me, that same rotation just takes me to left center field.
Okay.
So I've changed the field direction for myself. So I'm more like my foul lines are my right fielder and my left fielder versus my actual foul lines. So it gives me bigger windows to hit gap to gap.
Got it.
And it also, two things. One, it also helps you work into your front side. So it helps
Right.
you stop better. You can't over rotate. The question will be, hey, you can't hit an inside pitch. There's no way you can do that.
Right.
Well, contrary to, you have more space back here to work. So you actually have a little bit more time as well. So
Okay.
you have more space versus this way.
Right. So you prefer closed.
I prefer closed, and a lot of our hitters prefer closed. And ultimately, like some hitters will start closed, and if you see them, the way they create space is they'll scissor back in some of their hits.
Yeah.
So
almost
they
like they
end
end
up
up closed.
closed. So there's different versions of it.
Right.
And the
Yeah.
great athletes, like they're able to do both.
Now, if they're under rotators, then that would be harder. Yes.
That would be much harder, yes.
Okay. But most of your players are probably young, agile, so they're over rotators.
And their pelvis they don't have a lot of muscle in their pelvis, so they're over rotators. So that slight fix, and later on, they may straighten out a little bit more. So
Right.
that will help with their direction and still help them stop well.
So it's like a drill for the moment, and then if it works and you're hitting well, then
And I think, you go back and watch, they talk about new school versus old school hitting, and they're saying, well, this is the new stuff. It's really not. If you go back and to look at Mickey Mantle, Babe
Right.
Ruth, Kirk Gibson. And Kirk Gibson hit a home run. They said, hey, he's hitting on one leg, which was his front leg.
yeah.
And his back leg was off the ground. But if you look at that swing to this day, he starts closed off.
Right.
And what's he do? He pulls the ball over the right field fence.
Yeah. So it's recycled. Everything is somewhat recycled.
It's I just think there's probably, I think the foundation of it is old school. I think the way you teach it with the way people learn today, it would be considered new school.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time. This has
Awesome.
been great.
This is amazing.
I mean, this is like a master class in biomechanics. There's a lot of takeaways here. If you wanted to leave the viewers with one last takeaway, is there anything you would recommend for them to work on or to think about? That way they don't give up on baseball. Because baseball is a very tough sport. And I think a lot of people get frustrated when they don't see the results. What would you tell that person who is really wanting to commit to baseball but is struggling with the up and down of baseball and how baseball works?
I think that's a great question. I think no matter what you do in sports or life, there's gonna be ups and downs. And I would say focus on the ups and work on the downs. That will help build your confidence, and you're gonna be a better player and a better teammate. And then ultimately, I think when it comes to hitting and finding the right hitting coach, get someone that you can relate to, that you can talk to about problems that you may have had at home to help you clean up some of your mind so you can hit better, and find somebody that you click with. That's important. And we tell hitters all the time, come in here, let's see if it's a good fit.
Yeah.
Because
That's so big.
sometimes personalities clash. So I would say find what works for you, but I think ultimately focus on the positives. There are so many things that baseball can help develop, and you're going to learn a lot and appreciate the game in the end.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Ralph.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.